Hi, I'm Jan Marker, a trainer for Qt QML at KDAB. I'm based in Frankfurt am Main, Germany. Welcome to this video where I will show you how to use CMake in Qt 6 to expose the C++ controller to QML. If you want to see how this was done in Qt 5, take a look at Jesper's video linked below. Compared to Qt 5, Qt 6 changes the recommended build system from QMake to CMake. It also introduces CMake functions that make it very easy to set up a QML project. Note that these features only stabilize in Qt 6.5, so best use this or a later version of Qt. I'll show you now how to set up a simple QML project with the C++ controller. First, I'm going to show you the code that we're using to demonstrate this. The code is in three pieces. One is the QML side, the C++ side, and the CMake code that is going to connect the two. First, in QML, we have this rather straightforward screen where we have a background image, a small icon in the corner, and most importantly, this text element where we are trying to use information that the C++ side is going to provide. Then we have the C++ side, which is the simple controller. It has one property that you just saw QML is going to use. And finally, we have the CMake code, which is currently only setting up the C++ pieces, and we will in a moment add the QML module to it. We are going to add the QML module in 4 steps. The first step is that we modify the C++ class. Then in the second step, we register a module in CMake. Third, we import this module on the QML side. And finally, in the fourth step, in QML, we use the properties of our class. The first step is that our C++ class needs to be subclassed from QObject. In the code that I have prepared, this is already the case. Just as a reminder, we subclass from QObject, and we need to use the QObject macro to make all of the features of QObject available. The second step is that we create a QML module and we add this class to the QML module. I will start by annotating the class, and then in a second step I will add the QML module via CMake code. So first, on the C++ side, we need to import the QML engine here in order to make the annotations available. And then we add annotations, QML named element home screen and QML singleton. So QML named element tells the QML engine that this class should be available in QML using the name home screen. You could also just use QML element, and then it would, so the engine would use the C++ class name in QML, in this case home screen controller. The QML singleton annotation down here tells the engine that this is not an element that users are supposed to create, or users in this case are developers, but rather that the engine is supposed to create a single instance and make this instance available to all QML files across the project. Now, this is the C++ annotations. Let's move over to CMake and create the QML module. To that end, there is a CMake macro available that we use to create this module. This is called Qt add QML module, this way. Right, and so first we need to provide a CMake target that already exists, and now we can start providing information about this module. The first that I just wrote down is what is the name of the QML module in QML. The second one would be the version numbering. Then we provide a list of QML files, and finally, auto-completion. There we go. And finally, we make a list of resources that should be added to the module. In this case, our background and the icon. If you have created QML modules in Qt 5, most of this will look quite familiar. In Qt 5, you also need to provide a name of the module, you need to provide a module version, and you need to provide the QML files and classes. You also need to provide the resources and create a resource XML definition file. in Qt 6 and CMake, we have this function here that is going to do all of those things using the information that you provided here under the hood. And this completes step 2. The third step is that we import the QML module on the QML side. That's rather quickly with one line. So I write import KDAB home controller, right, like this. There's multiple things to note here. The first one is that in Qt 6, you don't need to use version numbers anymore. The second part to note is that this name is coming from our CMake code where we used it here as the URI. Let me also take this opportunity to show you how we actually load this main.qml file into the engine. That happens in our main.cpp file. And this is also already prepared. You see it here. This KDAB/home controller is also the module name, and the prefix of that path here, this is automatically created by Qt. So Qt automatically puts your module files into this location. All right, that's step 3. This final step, step 4, is that you use the singleton that we just exposed to QML in a location, and that is particularly here in line 17, where we use the temperature property of the home screen controller to provide a value to our text element. So just as a reminder, I look at the C++ class definition. It exposes the property here. The name is temperature, and I can use that exact property then as homescreen.temperature. Now maybe just to demonstrate that this actually works, is that I start the application and you see here the temperature is 24 degrees and 24 is the value that's provided by our property. Just to recap, there are 4 steps that you need to take in order to expose your C++ class to QML. The first is you need to subclass from QObject. The second, you need to create a QML module in CMake and you need to annotate your class. The third step is that you import the module in QML. And the fourth step, that you use the C++ class that you have now exposed to QML. And that's it. Of course, there is much more to QML's project setups in Qt 6. Nonetheless, this video has hopefully given you a first glance at how modern QML projects in Qt 6 look like. Feel free to post questions in the comment section and let us know your experience with QML and CMake in Qt 6. If you found this video useful, please share it with your colleagues. Subscribe to the KDAB TV channel for more QML and Qt videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Tschüss.